This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Breaking news here on the Fantasy Football Show here at the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk. Let's get to it.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
This man right here in front of your face, Kyler Murray, inks a $230.5 million deal, making him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the entire National Football League. So this guy right here is going to, take the Cardinals to the promised land? Maybe, maybe not. I think Kyler Murray has shown a lot of maturity in a very short window of time. I was pretty critical of Kyler and his whole social media song and dance. I was pretty critical of Kyler and his leadership, his lack of leadership for a while. And I think I can do that because I'm a Cardinal fan. I'm here in Arizona. I think I could do whatever I want in terms of my fandom. And Kyler has been a disappointment in Arizona. Like, it's no secret that Kyler has not been able to throw inside the pocket. He struggled when Hopkins goes down. There's been a lot of leadership problems with Kyler. But the Cardinals said, we're not paying you, Kyler. They said that early in the offseason. They changed their tune, clearly. But when they did that, Kyler did turn things around. Tyler put his head down, did go to work. I like what I've seen in a very short period of time. He's still got a lot to prove. And as a Cardinal fan, we're not too sure what's in store for Kyler in the future. But what I can tell you is this. And my boy Dr. Raj is in here, and I owe him a jersey. Because I said Kyler, early on in the offseason, I said the Cardinals don't want to sign him to an extension. They didn't. And they changed it up on me, and now I owe Raj a jersey. But Kyler Murray, you can't upgrade this man. Like, how are you going to go and get a better quarterback? Maybe he doesn't bring you a Super Bowl. Maybe he does. But what I do know is it's hard to upgrade a quarterback like this in the NFL. And from a fantasy perspective, which is why we're all here, this guy is a good fantasy football quarterback. Top 5, top 6, right around the top 4 to 7. You could throw him at 4, you could throw him at 6. There are a grip of quarterbacks like Lamar, like Jalen Hurts, even guys like Russell Wilson, you could argue, could dance in the 5, 6, 7. Trey Lance, my boy Trey Lance. You have a grip of quarterbacks in that 4 to 7, 4 to 8 range where Kyler Murray lives. And Kyler Murray has a potential to literally be the leading scorer in fantasy football any given week. So from a fantasy perspective, I like that he's happy. We're excited that he's happy. We want this man motivated. And he gets his wide receiver, Hollywood Brown, shipped over from Baltimore, his former college teammate. These guys got a rapport like this, and you get when this deal went down, when they traded for Hollywood Brown, I admit I was like, what are they doing? What are they doing? The Cardinals must have known this was coming down when they made that deal for Hollywood, because what a genius move at the end of the day. Like, Cliff Kingsbury gets a lot of flack. I know he basically, everybody feels that he dropped the ball. Hopkins went down last year. Kyler Murray was banged up. The Cardinals were the hottest team in the National Football League. There was no team better than the Arizona Cardinals. We were the toughest team in the entire NFL for half a season, and then things fell apart. And Kingsbury gets a lot of negative press, and a lot of people come for his neck and say Kingsbury should be gone. They gave him a contract extension right in the middle of the Kyler Murray situation. Now Kyler gets his extension. First of all,
Where's your mashed potatoes?
boy, Kyler gets paid. Kyler gets paid. I feel like he owes me a jersey, because I got to give Dr. Raj a jersey. But Kyler gets paid. I'm excited for it. I love it from a fantasy perspective. We have the Cardinals, one of the toughest schedules, if not the toughest schedule in the NFL. No, let me just call it toughest schedule in the NFL. Toughest schedule in the NFL. Our final 8 games are absolutely brutal. Let me pull up the Cardinals schedule here. Arizona Cardinals schedule 2022. This is really, really brutal. It's really brutal. I mean, the last 8 games are so bad. So bad. Let me put this up on screen. This is really, really tough. This schedule is so... Let's put it on screen. Down to the Saints game. So this is the beginning's not the worst part of the schedule. Like, the ending is what's bad. Okay, so here's it looks like August 12th. The Bengals, Ravens. Let's see here. That's August. September 11, right? KC, that's week 1. Let me put that right here. Cut it off there. KC, Raiders, Rams. Like, that's a brutal start. KC, Raiders, Rams. That's a we can start off 0-3. I'm not saying the Cardinals can't win one of those games. I'm not saying the Cardinals can't win 2 of them. It's possible, okay? Cardinals were the best team in football through half of the season last year. But we got a little bit of, unsettled situation in the Hopkins, suspension for 6 games. Now, granted, like I said earlier, Hollywood coming over is great news. And that could put the Cardinals in an amazing situation from week 7 on when they get Hopkins back, if he is the same wide receiver, which I don't believe he's dropped off talent-wise, but we'll see if he stays healthy. But you've got KC, Raiders, Rams. Okay? Then you got the Panthers, winnable. Eagles will be a tough game, but it's winnable, but it's a tough game. Seattle, we can win that game. And then the Saints. And then look at this schedule the rest of the way. There's a couple decent games in the beginning of it, but then it gets brutal. The second half of the season, or a little bit into the second half, because we're only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in, is right here. Vikings, going to be a tough game. We could win that game, but it's a tough game. Seattle could win that game again. Rams, Niners, Chargers, Patriots, Broncos, Bucks, Falcons, we can win that game. Niners. Has anybody seen a tougher 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a tougher 7 final games in the NFL season? The Rams, the Niners, who are going to be really tough this year. Chargers, I believe, could win the Super Bowl. Bye week, Patriots will still be tough, despite whatever offensive worries they have. Broncos, Buccaneers, Niners. That is a brutal finish to the 2022 NFL season. It's the toughest schedule in the NFL. Look at our first 3 games. Chiefs, Raiders, Rams. It's a brutal schedule. Absolutely brutal. Making the playoffs will be a tall order for the Arizona Cardinals this year because of how tough not only the NFC West is, but just how hard it's going to be to grab a wild card spot. It's a brutal schedule, Raj. It's a brutal schedule. That final 7 games, it wouldn't shock me if at most the Cardinals won 3 or 4 games in that final 8-game stretch. So, meaning we've got to have a huge lead on a wild card spot walking into the final 7 games. There's no way we go toe-to-toe with every one of those teams. That's a brutal schedule. KC has the toughest schedule in the NFL. I don't know. Tougher than that one, Terry? Maybe. I don't know. I'll look it up in a minute. This is brutal. Well, back on point. Who do we got in here today? We've got 70 of you in here. Punch that thumb up button. Mario, first in the building today. Atta boy Mario. Lions Den, Navage, James, Frake, Phillip, Kilpatrick, Kenny P. Vamp. Appreciate all you, Coach. Appreciate you all being here. So what do you guys think about Kyler Murray? What kind of fantasy season can we now expect? I love that he's paid because from a fantasy perspective, we don't have to worry about his attitude. I don't think he's going to be one of those quarterbacks that gets the money and then just steps back. I don't think that's it. I think he needed this. I think had he walked into 2022 with this negative cloud over his head that he did help create with the whole social media blitz that he did, this entire ransom letter that he wrote the Cardinals, it was getting out of hand. It was really bad. I was not excited about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals 2022 NFL season with this dark cloud that was self-made by Kyler Murray without his leadership and all that, demanding this and demanding that. I'm frankly a little shocked that this deal got done. I know the Cardinals needed to do it. I know that the leverage was a little bit... Kyler had a little more leverage than the average player because there was the thought and threat of him walking away, maybe. He wants to play baseball. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't be successful. We know that. But Kyler Murray was not happy, and Kyler Murray, there was a threat of this guy maybe walking away, or more so holding in versus holding out. In today's NFL, you don't hold out anymore if you're like a quarterback, where you can afford to actually have a bad season. Like a Deebo Samuel can't hold in. He can try and hold out, but you can't hold in. Hold in means you show up to get a check, you fake an injury, you don't give it your all, you just mosey on through the season, whatever. There's a lot of ways you could define holding in, but essentially it's you coming to get paid, but you're holding out essentially based on your performance, based on faking injuries, based on all kinds of things. And you might say to yourself, well, if Kyler Murray holds in and doesn't ink a deal and he has a bad year, who's going to pay him? A lot of teams. If he's holding in and it's clear as day that this man's holding in because he doesn't want to get hurt, there's still a team. There's still multiple teams that would step up and say, Kyler, we know what time it is. We know what time it is. We'll pay you. Come on over here. He would easily get that. A guy like Deebo, who has 1 year, to a lot of people, he has more than 1 year. We all kind of agree he has more than 1 year of proving it. He had a really good rookie year, then he broke his leg. But Deebo Samuel, if he was to hold in, let's say, wouldn't work out, because teams would be like, see, we're not going to give you the bag after you had one season and then literally held in, didn't hold out, but you faked an injury. You can't do that. Deebo is in a different place than Kyler Murray is. So Kyler Murray is 100% protected no matter what in this situation, or was. So Kyler Murray, there was more of a threat that this could end badly for the Cardinals than, oh, let's stand tall and we have all the cards. No, this guy had some leverage, but I'm still shocked that he got the bag without proving it more that he was a leader, proving on the field, off the field. There was that play where at the end of the season was over, he refused to go back onto the field and snap the football with his team. There's a lot of chatter about him blaming the organization and the team for putting him in an embarrassing situation in 2021. And so all that it just hit wrong. There's a negative cloud, like I said, over the top of Kyler Murray. A lot of it self-made. And he hasn't really proven a whole lot, in my opinion, but it is what it is. And he got paid. Cardinal fans everywhere, and you can ask a Cardinal fan, they're excited about him. Are we sure about him? Not yet. We know fantasy-wise, he's one of the best players in the NFL. We know fantasy-wise that this guy can be a monster during any given game. We know fantasy-wise he's the best thing for Hollywood Brown. We know fantasy-wise he's the best thing for the entire offense. He's the best thing for James Conner to have production and have wiggle room to run. So it's good. It's good. Do I feel from a fan perspective, or if we're just looking at this from a football perspective, do I feel like Kyler Murray is the answer, is going to march this team into a Super Bowl, has shown the kind of leadership that I need to see to pay him $230 million? No. A lot of fans will tell you he hasn't quite earned this $230 yet, but in today's NFL, when quarterbacks are hard to come by, you got to pay him. So he got paid. He's got the bag. Hollywood Brown to the moon in 2022. Fitzgerald. Bring Larry Fitzgerald back. I think Hopkins is probably going to have a good year once he returns, but there's still a lot to be proven there. I wouldn't say moonshot for D-Hop, but I'd say definitely that Hopkins having a very good week 7 on at the ADP cost of entry, which is around 7th round. You could get him in late 6, which is a little too early. But I would say that Vamp says a few months ago, you said I said I'd rather trade for a quarterback like Huntley and get a big name player in return. Vamp. That's a big difference between saying that and I'd rather have Huntley. The Cardinals, I don't know, have a Super Bowl contending team. I'm just being honest. From a fan perspective, I don't know that the Cardinals have a Super Bowl contending team yet. We'll have to see. We also have the addition of Hollywood Brown. Can you imagine what the Cardinals would look like right now if they didn't have Hollywood Brown and Hopkins was out 6 games? Do you think that anybody would be optimistic about the Cardinals winning even 8 games this year if Hopkins is out? So it's a totally different situation, Vamp. And what I said was the Cardinals could get a big player, some big draft capital. You could have done a bunch of damage trading Kyler Murray. You don't just trade Kyler Murray for one quarterback that is unproven. But what does it do to the entire team? Do you feel that in the next 5 years with this contract that the Cardinals will win a Super Bowl? If you believe they can, then it's going to be worth it. If you believe they won't, then other moves could have been made if they wanted to. They could have traded Kyler Murray if they wanted to, if they felt like he couldn't take him the distance, which the Cardinals clearly feel that they question a little bit, because the entire offseason they dangled the carrot in front of him, said, prove yourself, Kyler. We're going to extend you and extend your 5th-year option, which is next year. They didn't even have to give him the extension this year because they're going to pick up his 5th-year option, right? So the threat was, Kyler, you got your 4th year right now in 2022. You got your 5th-year option in 2023. Then we can sign you to an extension. Go out and prove yourself. The Cardinals didn't even do that. They threatened to do it, and then they didn't follow through with it. Kyler Murray, we're not paying you, and we'll pick up your 5th-year option next year. We're not going to pay you. Don't tell them that we'll wait like a couple months and then we'll pay him. That's what the Cardinals did. He proved it to a degree, but I still don't know if Hopkins and Kyler and this offense can actually win a Super Bowl. We'll see. We have a really negative vibe here in Arizona, I'll tell you, from the Suns over and over and over, going deep into the playoffs. This goes back to the Barkley days. This goes back to the days even before that. Days before a lot of you were even born, and days when I was just a tiny little kid, and the Suns would make it to the finals. The Suns would always go deep. The Suns can't close. The Cardinals. It's like even that year with Kurt Warner, even that year against the Pittsburgh Steelers when Santonio Holmes pulled in that Super Bowl touchdown snag that just broke our hearts. The Cardinals, I don't know, we have a little bit of a negative vibe. We can go almost the entire way, almost go the distance, and then drop the ball at the very end. It's disappointing, and so when the Cardinals continue to fail, when the Cardinals and the Suns look like they have a team for the ages, the Suns in 4. I mean, God, we look good. Even this year, the Suns looked unbeatable, unstoppable, and then the Suns dropped the ball. Kyler Murray, I don't know. I wish him well. I'm glad he got a deal from a fantasy perspective. Hollywood Brown,
to the moon.
I won't say Connor to the moon necessarily, because we don't just hand out moonshots like candy. But I think this is good for the entire fantasy football realm. When anybody connected to Kyler Murray, it's a good thing. Kyler Murray, congratulations, young man. You are one of the highest paid players in the National Football League. Kyler Murray's contract is as follows. $230.5 million. Some of the details haven't come out yet, making him one of the NFL's highest paid quarterbacks. His deal includes, I think it's $160 million in guaranteed money. What they did was they gave him the Deshaun Watson deal, but without the guaranteed money. Deshaun Watson's contract was $230 fully guaranteed. Kyler probably wanted $230 fully guaranteed, but the Cardinals were like, look, that was a unicorn contract. They shouldn't have even given it to him. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that the Browns completely screwed almost every other team in the NFL by signing Watson to that horrific $230 million guaranteed $1 million deal. Absolute garbage. That was a Bob move. That was a Bob move, Kenny. A Bob move. Only Bob would sign someone to a $230 million deal with, at the time, 22 pending civil litigation cases against him. I mean, this team, the Browns are in trouble. Although we should have news on Deshaun Watson very soon, and when that deal drops, when that situation drops, we'll be here live. You can bet on it. Anytime news breaks, I'm live. I was even a little late today getting on this live because Smitty has a flat tire. I'm trying to get the right tire for my car, and I have to take it into another place. So anyways, Smitty's got to go get his tire fixed. I'll probably do that tomorrow. If news breaks while I'm out, I'll go live on my phone. I was so close to home, I'm just going to drive home and get this taken care of. So, sorry I'm a little late on this, but anytime there's breaking news, your boy Smitty walks into the studio, we go live. But yeah, this $160 million guaranteed deal makes Kyler Murray the second highest paid reportedly, and more news could come out on this because the details are still a little bit, they're still rolling out. Second highest paid quarterback, average salary of $46.1 million per year. Murray was electric in 2021 before the ankle injury and the absence of DeAndre Hopkins appeared to impact his play down the stretch. Hopkins will miss the first 6 games. This is from NBC Sports. But Murray's Oklahoma running mate, Marquise Hollywood Brown,
To the moon.
will step up and help the boy Kyler. Help the boy Kyler. Help the boy. Help him. This is still a kid. Kyler Murray inking a 5-year, $230.5 million deal. Congratulations, Kyler. You know, this is good news for everybody involved. There's just no losers here when it comes to fantasy football impact. You want the quarterback getting paid. You want him as happy as he can be so he can come out and sling the rock to Hollywood Brown. So let's go. Michael, appreciate you. Take care of the tire, bro. See you tonight. Thank you, Terry. See you at 7 p.m. Eastern. Terry's out of here. Deuces, Terry. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. You know, if I'm ranking quarterbacks, let's go to the board and do a QB ranking. This is from a fantasy football perspective, mind you. There's occasionally people come in here and say he's not the best quarterback in the. We're doing this is a fantasy football show. Okay, this is the fantasy football show. So if I'm doing rankings for 2022, this is how I predict it to finish. Do I recommend you draft like this? No. I think Herbs finishes number 1. Now, Josh Allen's going to be the first quarterback off the board. But I see this guy finishing number 1. Burrow is number 3. Mahomes, even without Tyreek Hill, Mahomes is still going to finish in the top 4. There's a tier break here. You can love your quarterback as much as you want. Oh my God, Smitty. Don't you think Lamar Jackson's going to be in that tier? Smitty, don't you feel like Tom Brady? He's always so great. We even have the Ron Navy, Kirk Cousins conversation the other day. Look, I get everybody and their mother has a different quarterback take, okay? This is just my top 4. You can at me all you want. You can think differently. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody's going to have their opinion. But this is my top 4 quarterbacks. The crazy part is this 5 spot, because it really could be anybody. There's so many quarterbacks that are going to breach this territory all year long and dance in this. Kyler is definitely one of them. Kyler's definitely a guy you're taking as one of the top options in this 5+ range. Okay, so once you get into that territory, it's open season as to who's going to be the number 5 in your opinion. It could be Kyler. It can be Lamar. Fans get so upset. It could be Lamar. It could be Lamar for sure. It could be Jalen Hurts. Hurts could come into the mix. Hurts could be the guy. He really could. Trey Lance is my dark horse for being a guy that dances in this 5, 6, 7, 8 range all year long. Trey Lance, Russell Wilson. I mean, why can't Russell Wilson, Raindrop Russ, come in here and start dropping raindrop missiles to his boy Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, and Javonte Williams? Tom Brady, where's the respect for Tom Brady? Look at this. Look at these quarterbacks. You can make an argument for any one of these guys to be number 5. And they're all going to dance in this area all year long. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 10 quarterbacks right here. 10. This is why we don't have room for Cousins, Ron. You can't put anybody else in here. You got too many weapons. We're leaving Dak off already. Stafford. Where's Stafford? Where's A-Rod? Where's Carr? Where's Carr? Where's A-Rod? A-Rod. Stafford. Who else are we missing? Dak. I mean, this is loaded. Now, this is where people usually say to me, Smitty, you just proved my point. You just proved my point, my man. My young man, Smitty. The quarterback pool is so deep. Why on earth would you go near a quarterback early when you could literally wait and grab any one of those quarterbacks? Well, let me tell you something. Just because this is a deep crew in the 5 to 12 range, just because there are a ton of quarterbacks from Dak to Stafford to Lance to Hurts to Wilson to Brady to Lamar to A-Rod. This is A-Rod right here. Don't get all upset, Green Bay fans. To Carr, to Kyler. Just because there's this loaded crew here doesn't mean that this guy can't outscore them by a significant amount. Doesn't mean that these 2 guys or these 3 guys. I don't know if I have Mahomes maybe dropping occasionally in with one of these guys at times because of the weaponry and the lack of touchdown production that could be there more so than other years for him. Like, this is my clear 4. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he bounces in and out of the top 4, but you still got to give him the respect he deserves and has earned that 4 spot. But these guys right here, they could throw for 45 plus TDs. These guys are amazing. They are really good. The QB pool is deep. But if you're one of those people that says, I'm just going to wait for whoever's left, why play fantasy football? How is that any fun? I'm just going to wait for a quarter. Look, I'm taking control. Give me the reins, bro. Let me go in and grab the guy that I feel is going to throw for 45 TDs with the extra game. I think that's totally possible. 44 to 45 TDs for any one of these guys. But I'm going to say that this is the man that probably slings 45 touchdowns, runs for 3 to 5, scores a total of 50 scores in 2021, which is why if he's touching 48 to 50 touchdowns total. This guy Herbert.
To the moon.
You have a league winner. Even early quarterback, you have a league winner. Now, all that said, do you know who I feel? And you probably do if you've watched my show at all over the last month. Who one of my number one players in all of 2022 is in terms of value. Who one of my favorite picks is. Who I consider to be one of the best draft picks in fantasy football 2022. Is it Herbert? Herbert's a great value. If you can get him in the late 4th round, that is league winning, and I won't pass up on it. But do you know what player I love more than any other player besides Breece Hall in 2022 fantasy football? You know who I'm talking about. People are
getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.
Why is Burrow the best pick in fantasy football? Because this guy's ADP is in the 6th round. When you can't even read that, can you? You can't even read that. In round 6. When you could get Joseph cigar smoking Burrow in round 6, yet come in here and complain to me about my early quarterback approach. 6th round is not early. Smitty, why would I draft a quarterback early in the 6th round, which is not early, when I can just get a Brady in round 9 or 10? I get the appeal of waiting. I understand it. But waiting to the 6th round to get a guy that can throw for 40 to 45 touchdowns is ridiculous. That value is insane. It is league winning. Yeah, Broadway Burrow, Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow. You pick whatever you want. This man.
People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.
To the
This
moon.
man's going to burrow a lot of people in 2022. And Joseph Burrow is one of, if not the best picks in fantasy football 2022 at his 6th round value. It doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. None of this matters right here. Just because Kyler's good, Lamar's good, I get it. They're good values too. And if you get sniped out of Joseph Burrow, that's fine. You can go after a Kyler. You can go after a Jalen Hurts. You can go after my boy Trey Lance. I love Trey Lance. I'm gonna own these guys too because I'm not gonna snipe Burrow in every league. If I do a whole, okay, Herbert falls to 4.10, I'm taking Herbert. That's value. You take the value as it's there. What if Herbert gets sniped? Burrow is waiting there for you to help you win a league in the 6th round. At 6.1 in best ball drafts, get on over to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Smitty. Link in the description. Also, just use code Smitty if you're over there. Get a free phone call from me. I also have the link at thefantasyfootballshow.com at the top. But let me tell you something. You get this guy, Joseph Burrow, in the 6th round in a underdog draft. It's called Championship. It's called Championship. You get Joseph Burrow in the 5.10 to 6.5 range. It is championship season, baby. Because this guy could throw for 40 to 45 touchdowns, run a couple in. Guy could easily be a 45 plus touchdown guy. Herbert could be a 45 to 50 total touchdown guy. Absolutely love Herbert. Absolutely love Joseph Burrow. And anybody that considers Joe Burrow at 6.1 early quarterback, what's your definition of early quarterback? I've never heard of this early quarterback in round 6 before. That sounds like middle round to late quarterback drafting to me, pal. So go get it, Joseph. We're here to celebrate Kyler. Kyler, appreciate you. And as an Arizona Cardinal fan, I am excited about this. Punch that thumb up button. We got 80 of you in here, 40 thumbs up. Punch the thumb up button. Help your boy Smitty. I'm excited about Kyler Murray. As a Cardinal fan, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this does to his mentality. I'm excited to see what this does to his drive. I'm excited to see how much of his ransom letter is true when he said, you want to win a Super Bowl? You give me a contract extension now. Give me a deal now, and let's see what Kyler Murray can do with that now. Let's see how motivated he is. Let's see what the connection is now between him and Hollywood Brown. Look, this Hollywood Brown deal was genius. I was starting to talk about it earlier. I got sidetracked. Kingsbury. This guy Kingsbury. Okay? Everybody's really hard on him. I get it. There's a lot to be critical of. But he did lead this team through half of a season where they were the best team in football. Okay? Things fell apart. Hopkins went down. You know, if the Niners lost Debo or if the Buffalo Bills lost Diggs, it would be a blow. You would have a tougher time winning games. So Kingsbury gets a really, really bad rap, and I think he deserves another shot before everybody starts calling him a bad coach and needs to be fired. He led this team to an unbelievable start, and then he had injuries that took out his number one wide receiver and his quarterback. Like, what do you expect Kingsbury to do? Now, Kingsbury saw this whole Hopkins thing, coming, and he made a veteran move for Hollywood Brown, which no one understood at the time because they didn't have the information that Hopkins was going to be out 6 weeks. And they made a move for a veteran that Kyler Murray had comfortability with. These guys have a rapport. Kyler Murray and Hollywood Brown played football together, former college buddies. Rapport's already there. They just got to kickstart the rapport. And we're going to see Kyler Murray kind of fall into a very natural, comfortable place throwing the football to Hollywood Brown. Now you got Hopkins out. Like, here's what's really happened. This is what's crazy. When people say the Cardinals are in trouble from that perspective, that makes me laugh because, yeah, while I worry about Kyler's maturity and getting to where he needs to be to win a Super Bowl, when you think about it from this perspective, you have the Arizona Cardinals with Hopkins. Now, when you think about it, let me see if I can get this clear again. Come on. There we go. When you think about it, look at this. Kyler, Hopkins, Hollywood. That's what the Cardinals are going to have. Right now, of course, they don't have Hopkins. But this right here is still as good as Kyler and Hopkins. Like, what's so funny is this right here is as good as Kyler Hopkins. Mainly because they have rapport. But Hollywood Brown and Kyler together should be as productive as Kyler and Hopkins. So when people say the Cardinals are in trouble because Hopkins is out, they've already practically replaced him. This is equal. So what happens when Hopkins comes back? If Kyler is on point, this right here is what you call an upgraded situation, people. This right here is one of the better wide receiver crews in the National Football League. You don't really hear people talk about that. When people say, hey, who's the best wide receiver, who are the best quarterback wide receiver combos in the NFL? No one ever mentions the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown, and Hopkins. No one ever mentions it because Hopkins is out for 6 games. But when he comes back, who's to say this isn't the best wide receiver and quarterback trio in the National Football League? You know what I'm saying? This is one of the best trios in the National Football League once Hopkins is back. Plain and simple. As far as wide receivers, now, of course, you've got Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. Probably the best in the National Football League. But this is a very comparable trio once Hopkins is back. So kind of crazy how much negativity go the Cardinals' direction when you look at the weaponry that this team has. And then Connor, like, there's a lot of options, a lot of weapons. Kyler Murray gets paid. Kyler.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Congrats, Kyler. You deserve it to a degree. Prove it. Prove that you have earned this, pal. Show us in your attitude, your leadership. Do what you said you'd do in the ransom letter when you said you'd bring a Super Bowl to the Cardinals. I think it's going to be a tall order this year, to be honest. I think with the injury to Hopkins and all that, or the suspension to Hopkins, with him proving that he can be healthy, Hopkins as well. With all that, I'm a little worried, a little skeptical of the schedule, but I definitely feel like it's hard to upgrade Kyler Murray. It is hard to get a better quarterback than Kyler Murray. There aren't a lot of other options. The only options you have are the deals that I talked about, where I said you could trade Kyler for another quarterback and then build around him, get a massive amount of draft picks and draft capital, and bring in a guy like Tyler Huntley. Do something like that. I love Tyler Huntley. Like if you were to get a bunch of draft capital or a huge defensive player, top 5, top 7 defensive player in a Tyler Huntley, like something like that, you could build around that and try and do something new, something different. But if the Cardinals feel they have what it takes to win a championship in the next 5 years, which I'm a little skeptical of in a still tough NFC, but especially given the AFC competition, I don't know that I see Kyler Murray yet. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, knocking off one of the AFC big dogs that will be facing them every single year. I mean, you've got Burrow, you've got Josh Allen, you've got Herbert, you've got Russell Wilson, you've got Pat Mahomes. I feel like from that lot of players that I just named in those offenses, those teams, and some will say Derek Carr and the Raiders, and you can say that if you want. It's going to be hard pressed for an NFC team to win a Super Bowl. I would say the next 5 years, at least 3 of them will be won by one of those teams I just named in the AFC. This is a tough AFC for the next decade. And I think the NFC is still good. I think there's still a lot of good teams. I think the Rams, the Niners, we'll see how Green Bay fares without Adams. We'll see how Tom Brady does. Is he still Tom Brady? Can he still do it for 1 more or 2 more years? Let's call it 1 year at a time. I don't know. We'll see. Kyler Murray in the pocket is, Kyler Murray's got to learn how to throw in the pocket. Here's my hope, meet the woo with that particular comment. He is too short to see over his own line. It's like this. I mean, let's be honest, okay? This is my quarterback. This is my Cardinals team. I can be honest. I can be critical. He's like this. He can barely see over the line. It's just fact. It's not like me joking around or exaggerating it. He literally has learned to roll outside the pocket because he can't see over the line very well, or a lot of the time. Punch that thumb up. We have 70 to 80 people in here and only 49 thumbs up. Punch that thumb up button for your boy Smitty. I'm out here breaking news for you. Hit it for me. Hit it for me. I don't know. I agree. Keeping Kyler in the pocket, but Hollywood will help there. I agree. So that's what I was going to say. Hollywood Brown might add a different dynamic to Kyler Murray's game. Being without Hopkins for a little while might truly help Kyler Murray develop, kind of like when you are right-handed and you break your right hand and you've got to throw with your left, do a lot of things with your left hand. And then when your right hand gets strong again, you return to using it, but now you have this new skill and ability to be able to use both of your hands in some ways. Like Kyler Murray, I believe being without Hopkins is going to make him grow. Hopefully, it's not painful growth. Hopefully he grows in a way that when Hopkins comes back, he's better for it. He's stronger. The Cardinals can take a huge step forward the moment Hopkins returns. And hopefully the Cardinals have a good enough record to be in the wild card hunt, maybe even the division hunt, but probably not. But if they're in the wild card hunt, especially with the first 3 games, like I talked about earlier, these first 3 games are so brutal for the Cardinals. These are the first 3 are the preseason games. The September 11, KC, Raiders, Rams. Those are 3 insanely tough games to start the season. Without Hopkins, trying to build rapport for the first time with Hollywood since college. You've got 3 very tough games to kick off the season. I don't think you could have a tougher 3 games. KC, Raiders, and Rams. And then, we've got a string of games that are winnable. Panther game. The Eagle game, Eagles will be tough, but you could win that game. So Panthers, Eagles, Seattle Seahawks, and Saints. You know, it may be Kamara's out for that game still. We don't know what Kamara's suspension is going to look like. So the Cardinals could technically, in a worst case scenario, in the beginning part of the season, and then a best case scenario, be 4-3 coming out of these 7 games. I mean, we'll see. And they get Hopkins back for this Saints game. I don't know. If I had to project and be honest and objective about it, I would say Cardinals lose week 1, lose week 2. Let's say the Cardinals win week 1. Let's give them a win. Win week 1, lose week 2, lose week 3. They're 1-3. 2-3 after the Carolina game. 3-3 after the Eagle game. 4-3. Or I'm sorry, 4-2. Did I say 4-2? 4-2. 4-2 after the Seahawks game. They could be 5-2. They could be 5-2 after this stretch of games, but they also could be 4-3. But we'll see. You know, I'm cautiously optimistic about the Cardinals this year. I think the schedule is just brutal. Like I said at the end of the year, this is the worst last 7 games I've seen for a team. Saints are. This isn't it. This is the beginning. I mean, from the Ram game right here. Rams, Niners, Chargers, bye week, Patriots, Broncos, Bucks, then Falcons. We can win that game, and then Niners. That is a brutal finish to the season. Unbelievable. Kyler Murray over Jalen Hurts. Look, Jalen Hurts, I like Jalen Hurts. I think he gets too much negative press. I think people are too hard on Jalen Hurts. Dude had one full season, and everybody's judging him, saying this is what he is. Hurts is what he is. He just got A.J. Brown. When the haters are going to go crawling back into a hole when Hurts comes out and drops a pretty darn good season. People are going to climb right back into a hole and say, well, you know, he has A.J. Brown. That's why. He has A.J. Brown. That's why. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. I love how convenient that A.J. Brown trade is. You know, I love that everybody feels that A.J. Brown is just a saving grace for Hurts, and it's not. It doesn't end up being Hurts that makes these that drops these stats at the end of the year. If Hurts is a top 5 to 7 quarterback fantasy wise, and he looks more like a top 10 quarterback NFL wise, it's going to be blamed on the fact that he got A.J. Brown, and that's fine. People can be negative on Hurts all they want. Hurts is still developing. You know who people were also negative on? And I can say this because I had him in my top 5 bold predictions as a rookie. Okay? Josh Allen. And everybody can say you can't compare Hurts to Josh. Did he just compare? Yeah, you know why? Because everybody said Josh Allen was trash. Everybody said Josh Allen couldn't throw the football. Everybody now says Josh Allen's an anomaly that you can't talk about. Why can't you talk about him? When everybody said the same thing about Josh Allen, he's trash. He does no accuracy. He can't do well. Everybody says Hurts just checks down all the time. Check down Jalen. Well, he didn't have the options that he has right now. Like, let's see what he does with A.J. Brown. And let's see how Devontae Smith develops. You got Goddard. You've got, Sanders is okay. I think Sanders could be effective if they use him right. I don't think he'll be a great fantasy asset or consistent. He even said, don't draft him. He said, don't draft me in fantasy. I won't be consistent. But Hurts is, I love that people don't know what's going to happen. I love that people feel like they understand this guy. They've already pegged him. This is what he is. He came in as a rookie, and I'm not 100% sure on the stat, but I believe it was 345 yards, something like that, and 4 touchdowns his first NFL game. And then he followed that up with another, I believe it was right around 303. And then everybody thought this guy was top 5. Top 5 quarterback, locked and loaded. He only played 2 games at this point. This is not last year, it's the year prior, when Doug Peterson then benched him, I believe in his 3rd game, if my memory is serving me correct. It was like 340 and 4, 303. Monster 2 games to start off his career. Everybody says he's a little check down guy. His first 2 games, he exploded. He was a yardage guy. This guy, Jalen Hurts, could throw for 4,000 yards and run for 1,000 at some point in his career. You know, like, he could run for 1,000. He'll have 1,000-yard rushing season potentially at some point during his career. He is a cheat code in some ways if he's able to get on point with his throwing. It's going to be an unbelievable season for Jalen Hurts. Now, I love that people are giving him no ability to improve. He is what he is, according to so many people. Jalen Hurts can't improve. Why? Why can Josh Allen grow leaps and bounds as a mechanic quarterback that can sling the rock and be considered to be one of the best passers in the NFL? Why can he have time to improve his mechanics, but Jalen Hurts doesn't get that time? Why? Jalen Hurts is electric. Just wait. Hurts was in the playoffs last year, and now his team just got better, says Niner by Nature. Hurts over Cousins, of course. I mean, Ron's in here, I think. So, earmuffs, Ron. Of course, we want Jalen Hurts over Kirk Cousins. Come on. Let's not have that conversation again. I love my boy Ron, but please. I don't know if Ron saw my quarterback rankings. Cousins wasn't even near it. He wasn't even close to being ranked on that board. He's a super flex quarterback, Ron. I do give you that. But Cousins should not be starting on anybody's fantasy team because of the quarterbacks I just named, down to Derek Carr, which was 14. He wasn't the 14th quarterback. I'm saying Derek Carr could be the 14th quarterback. I named earlier 1 through 14 in no particular order. So that means that Cousins at best can be quarterback 15 in fantasy. At best. His best case scenario is being ranked inside my top 15. Enough of that. Ron, Kirk Cousins, it's great news for you. He's all yours. You'll be able to scoop him up in every draft you can. Dude had 3 different QBs and made all of them look good. Who are you talking about now? CeeDee Lamb made Hurts, Kyler, and Baker look good. CeeDee Lamb season's here. Can we just say that?
To the moon.
Love CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb could be the wide receiver 1, potentially. He could. I'm not saying he will be. I'm not saying expect that. It's clearly Chase and Jefferson. I'm just saying, of all the wide receivers not in the top 3 or 4, because like Lamb's not really traditionally in the top 4. He's probably like 5, 6, 7. Of everybody outside the top 3, Kupp, Chase, Jefferson, I think Adams a lot of time is ranked ahead of Lamb. Of everybody not in that top 3 or 4, the one wide receiver I feel is the best shot. Ron, thank you for the super chat. Of becoming the number 1 is CeeDee Lamb. Read my above comment. Let's debate. I don't want to debate Kirk Cousins again, Ron. It's just not the best topic in the world. I'll put your comment up for sure, but I don't need to debate this. It would just be more of the same. Cousins ranks 2015 11, 2016 13, 2017 10, 2018 13, 2019 8, 2020 15, 2021 13. Okay, I mean, even with that, Ron, that still doesn't put him anywhere consistently inside the top 10. So from my perspective, that's still, what's that average out to? 13 or whatever. So he's not a top 12 quarterback. But he's a great super flex quarterback that is very, very undervalued. I agree with that. He's undervalued. I'll give you that. But I'm not starting him in fantasy. There's not going to be a single team. Even if I did the same thing as last year and played in 22 fantasy leagues, which I'm not. I'm cutting back so many leagues. I messaged people. I said, look, my show takes up my time, and I can't have 22 leagues where I've got to find out which one has Keenan Allen, or he's banged up today. Like, I can't do that while I'm live, and I'm live so much. My team's just I have guys that are hurt starting. If I play in 22 leagues, so I'm cutting back. But I wouldn't own him if I played in 22 leagues. I wouldn't own Cousins as my starter in even one league. My man will be starting Burrow in about 40 or 50% of my leagues. Josh Allen in about 10% of them. Probably Herbert. No, actually, let's do this again. 40% Burrow, 20% Herbert, probably like a 10% Josh Allen, and then a combination of probably Lance, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. Yeah, I mean, I don't think out of all my teams, I could literally have a situation where I'm not starting like one of those big dogs. Like, I'm drafting early quarterback to a degree, middle round quarterback to a degree. I'm not letting it slip past, a Kyler, or slip past a Jalen Hurts. I'll own Hurts and Lance as my safety net. Like, I want Lance in a bunch of leagues because I think Lance is going to the moon. Doesn't mean that Burrow's not already on the moon.
To the
sitting
moon.
there, because look what we got here.
The moon men dropping loads in outer space.
Space monsters.
Look at these space monsters right here. Now, the leader here, inside the shuttle, I haven't done it yet, but inside the shuttle, we're going to put Justin Herbert. inside this shuttle on this rocket on the right. I'm gonna put his face inside that glass window because he's flying everybody to the moon. I want to put Herbert on here in the sense that he's, one of the space monsters that are being inducted, because this guy Herbert's already there. So Herbert's gonna be flying the shuttle, but we got Burrow, we got Hall, we got Rashad White. Let's hit this one more time. To the moon, go the moon men.
The moon men, dropping loads in outer space.
ETN to the moon, Javonte to the moon, Trey Lance. These are kind of new moon space monsters. Herbert, because Herbert went to the moon last year, he was the number 2 quarterback. He will be flying the shuttle. All these men. Now we still got to add a couple people. We're gonna add a wide receiver. Don't worry. Lamb and Herbert might be co-piloting this shuttle to the moon. So because Lamb needs to be like in the conversation here, even though he's already, it's hard to call him a breakout. Everybody knows he's coming. It's not like he's one of these like, guys that are gonna like win leagues from their ADP. But Herbert and Lamb will shuttle these guys over because they deserve the respect of being involved in this conversation. But these are the moon men. And my favorite, Burrow and Breece Hall, these two gentlemen at the top right. Burrow and Breece Hall are the best values in fantasy football.
Get breached. Get breached. Get breached.
Kyler Murray.
Let's go. Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, buddy. Congratulations, Kyler. You are now one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm very grateful that you didn't sign a guaranteed $230 million deal. Thank goodness that Deshaun Watson didn't completely screw up the market. He did set the bar for the amount of money. Kyler Murray is the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL in terms of salary per year at $46.1 million. So that is big. That is big. Smitty, if Irv Smith can stay healthy, could he help Cousins make the top 10? Cousins could flirt with that. Like Ron just spat out those stats. I don't know if those are accurate, but I trust Ron. Ron's definitely a reliable person with that kind of stuff. So if Ron says he's ranking around 12 or 13 on average, then he's probably ranking around 12 or 13 on average. But do I think he's going to crack the top 12 this year? No, I don't, because the quarterbacks I just listed are deeper than ever. They're better than ever. We've never seen a quarterback pool deeper than this, which doesn't make me want to go late quarterback anymore. I've already explained why, because apples to apples, you're still getting a player that I believe is going to be even above this big, massive amount of players that is high level. Like we have a big pool of really amazing quarterbacks. I don't think he can crack into the Kyler Murray, the Lamar Jacksons, the Jalen Hurts, the Trey Lances. Some of these guys are unproven. I get how uncomfortable it makes some people, including my boy Ron, to say that Hurts and Lance are above Cousins because you like the proven. But I'm not here to talk about what's been proven, Ron. I'm here to predict what's going to happen. And Lance and Hurts are heading to
the moon.
And if we keep having this conversation, I might just put Jalen Hurts on this
the moon
men list.
Dropping loads in outer space.
If I keep getting pushed, Ron, I might toss little Jalen on this thing.
Space Monsters.
And if you ask why I want Jalen Hurts over Kirk Cousins when he hasn't proven it, because he can run for 1,000 yards. Jalen Hurts could run for he'll run for 800 yards in his sleep this year. Jalen Hurts could run for 800 to 1,000 yards during any given season. So we want to talk football. We can talk football, and I think Jalen will prove everybody wrong eventually, and he'll probably start this year. From a fantasy perspective, there's just no argument because this man could run for 1,000 yards. Okay. In the Scott Fishbowl, bro, if I showed you my Scott Fishbowl team, you'd probably shard in your pants immediately. You've got Herb, Swift, Breece, Pitts. Who should I draft next? Are you really not that far in the Scott Fishbowl? That's crazy how slow your draft is. DK, Schultz. Give me DK off of this list. DK or McLaurin. I like Schultz. Actually, It's a tight end premium, but you got Kyle Pitts. You could start more than one tight end, but I'll probably go DK because you need wide receivers, bro. And I like McLaurin. You could go McLaurin or DK, either one. Either one. My Scott Fishbowl team is absolutely crazy. Let me pull it up real quick. It's insane. My Scott Fishbowl team, I feel like I worked them pretty good. I think I'm definitely one of the top teams in my league. Let me see if I can pull this up. Look at this squad in the Scott Fishbowl. I dropped a serious squad here on these guys. Here's my Scott Fishbowl team. It's okay, so let me remind you, it's super flex. It's tight end premium. It's 6 points per TD pass, only 5 points for rushing TDs, 5 points for passing TDs. They always do weird scoring. Like, you can't even prepare for it. And the quarterbacks, the first 2 rounds are all quarterbacks. So you get Jefferson, you get JT, you get guys like that in the 3rd round, like the way that this works. So I drafted Jalen Hurts. I drafted Aaron Rodgers. You need 2 quarterbacks. You need 2 quarterbacks. Rodgers and Jalen Hurts. Then I came in with Justin Jefferson. I have St. Brown. I have DeAndre Hopkins. I have Brandon Ayuk. I have Dawson Knox. I have Travis Etienne. I have Breece Hall. I have Eli Mitchell. I have Tony Pollard season. This team is absolute straight fire in a super flex league with 6 points per TD pass. Just completely crushed this draft. I couldn't have been more excited about this team. Hurts and Aaron Rodgers in a super flex 6 point per TD league. Hurts is going to ball out. Hurts is going to ball out. 314 points last season with his improvements on roster. Dude's going to be right there with Aaron Rodgers scoring right there at 420. So look at the quarterback scoring. Like, this is why Justin Jefferson fell to the 3rd round, is because look at the scoring. Look at the quarterback scoring. 420 points compared to JJ at 308. But look at some of the other scoring or whatever. Breece Hall season, ETN season, these 2 running backs right here. I couldn't be more pleased. I love coming out of my draft with my running back 1 and running back 2 being ETN and Breece Hall, because it affords you so much more work that you can do at the top of the draft. You can get a JJ. You can get in a super flex, these 2 quarterbacks, and then come in and get ETN and Breece Hall. Absolutely love this team. So Scott Fishbowl coming for the first place for the kids, doing it for the kids. Smitty's coming for you, everybody. You've been warned. Smitty, someone offered me their Kamara and future 3rd for my Juju and Darrell Williams. Someone offered me their Kamara. Take it. Like, why are you even asking, Gavin? Kamara could be out 6 games. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. Future 3rd rounder. Who cares about your 3rd rounder, Gavin? I wouldn't take your 3rd rounder for free. Okay, you're gonna get Kamara, and all you got to give up is Juju, who's proven nothing, who I have no faith in whatsoever. Go get Kamara and go win your championship, young man. Okay? Breathe easy with the mask on. Don't get overexcited and pass out once you get Kamara, but take a lap. Take the mask off, take a lap, put the mask back on if you need it. Take it and run, bro. Unbelievable. I'm proud of you for getting that done, but definitely need to take a lap for even hesitate. Because if that offer got pulled because you had to come over here and ask, then you're going to be taking a big fat lap. It's Kamara and a 3rd. Did I read it wrong? Whatever. Regardless. Oh, I already took it. I was just baffled. Yeah, get ready for the veto process to kick in. Get ready for everybody to be like, yeah, veto that. Veto that. Did Ron send another super chat? Sorry, Ron. Ron said, optimal word, he could. Are we still talking about Cousins again? Ron, I got great news. Like, first of all, who cares what anybody says? If you love Kirk Cousins, bro, do you. Don't even listen to me. Ron, go clean up. Go clean up with Kirk Cousins. But the great news is, all of this pushback, you've got to love it. You got to relish in it, bro. Because if you believe he's the next, if you believe he's basically like, when you see Kirk Cousins, Like when you put on your Kirk Cousins goggles, bro, and you see, oh my God, that's Patrick Mahomes. This whole time, like you literally gonna win all your championships, Ron. So do you. I love Ron's conviction though. Ron is so convicted to this, and I love it. Look, trust your gut, guys. You ever feel like something and you feel like the whole world's against you? Who cares? Do you? This is what you got. One life to live. And if Kirk Cousins is your mission, Ron, you do it, and you do it live, buddy boy. That's how I feel about Breece Hall. That's how I feel about Javonte Williams. That's how I feel about my Moon Men.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Space.
I don't care if people are against my space monsters. These magnificent.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
People can be all upset all they want. These Moon Men are going to the space station, and we're going to do it live. Let's see here. Don't mention Cousins or Gordon, says David. Yeah, no one mentioned Javonte versus Melvin Gordon today. By the way, we can open the phone lines real quick before we head out of here.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Call into the show. Dial 602 NFL. Dong.
I mean, why not? Why not open up the phone lines? You know what I'm saying? I mean, why wouldn't we open up the phone lines? If Ron, you do end up calling, let's keep the Cousins thing to a two sentence debate. Hurts could be a Moon Man. He could. I could definitely see Hurts. You know, we keep talking about Hurts not being good enough. You're gonna drive me into making him one of the said.
The Moon Men.
I'll put Hurts on there. You push me to my limit. I'll put Hurts on there without hesitation. He's at least gonna be involved. Maybe he like zooms by like in a space outfit or something. But ETN to the moon, absolutely. ETN's on the Moon Men list for a reason. Silver says Kyler to the moon. Let's go. He's excited about the deal. Put Hurts up there, Smitty. You might just drive me to it. Kyler 7, 18, week 8 on. You're not taking into account that Hurts will improve at all. Yeah, that's the one thing I don't understand when people say that Hurts like is garbage. Hurts only does this. Hurts is it's a dump. He's a dump off kind of quarterback. Like no one gives him any room to improve. He had 1 year of volatility in two regimes that wanted to get rid of him. The current one's still there. You know. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah, who is this?
Oh, let me put you on mute. So I'm in a
Identify yourself.
8-man dynasty. I gotta decide on who is my fourth. I got Aaron Jones, Barkley, Chubb, and Adams that I'm keeping. I know you're high on Herbert, but I have to decide on Herbert or Kittle. Who are you taking?
I mean, of course, I like both of them. And when you think about it, like Kittle in round 4 at the end of round 4 is pretty good, and Herbert at the end of round 4 is pretty good, right? So it's not like either one's a mistake because they're both going in the same area, and you got to ask yourself who you more likely to draft, in the next round. I think Kittle probably falls more than Herbert will. Is it 6 points per TD pass?
Yeah.
So you got to go Hurts, man. Or Herbert. If it's 6 points per TD, you have to go Herbert. Like, this is not even a debate anymore. If it was 4 points per TD pass, 6 points for running, 6 points for passing TD or receiving TDs, but 4 points for passing touchdowns, it would be like arguable. But if you get 6 points per TD pass, bro, you have to go Herbert.
Yeah, I have the 7th pick in the draft, and I'm thinking, who's going to fall to the 7th spot? Is it going to be Kittle or Herbert?
Not Herbert. Not in a 6-point per TD league. Herbert all day, bro. All day.
All right.
Like that, just to put it in perspective, 6-point per TD pass versus 4, that can move a guy like Herbert from round 4 into like the top of 3. And arguably, you could argue second round, but no one's gonna do it, so you don't want to do it. Like, people are very weird about quarterbacks, bro. I talk about this all the time. I don't understand the hatred people have for quarterbacks. Punch that thumb up button on your way in the door, guys. We've got anywhere between 80 and 100 people in here, and only 65 thumbs up. Your boy Smitty out here working overtime with the breaking news. Let's do it.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and wipe your feet at the door.
So what I was saying, bro, is people are very weird about quarterbacks. Once the season starts, once week 1 is here, people all of a sudden value Herbert where they need to value him. They value Mahomes where they should value him. They value Josh Allen where they need to value him. Kyler Murray goes up in value. It's like the reverse of driving a car off the lot. You drive a car off the dealership lot, it depreciates immediately. You drive a quarterback off the lot once week 1 starts, they go up in value. They're like an investment. It's crazy. Like, think about it. Like, you got Josh Allen at 3.8, let's say, okay? 3.8.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, week 1 starts. The whistle blows. Boom, week 1 starts. Do you think anybody's going to trade you Josh Allen if, let's say, you didn't own him for a 3rd round player? There's no way. You can't offer up a guy you drafted in the 3rd round for Josh Allen. You'll get laughed at. So what does that tell you? It tells you that people undervalue quarterbacks on draft day, and they do it because everybody else does it. But guess what? We're going to do it too, because you can't go against traffic too much with that stuff, because it'll end up burning you. Just like if you convert a league to a super flex, let's say, and your entire league just says, nah, we're still going to treat it like a normal league. You can't really go quarterback in that environment, even though super flex you should consider it, or at least go quarterback in round 1. If no one else is going to do it, you're not going to get the value that you should get, because no one else is playing the same game. You know, so like, bro, Herbert at 6 points per TD is, you add that to this, I love it. I would still shop Barkley around. It's a 4-man keeper league. Is there any penalty for keeping a guy, or do you just keep any 4 you want? Or 5?
No, it's an 8-man keeper league.
Or 8-man, okay.
You keep 5. You get to keep 5 keepers.
So it's a 5-man keeper league.
Yeah.
Okay, so eight owners, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, Herbert's a lock and a 6-point per TD. I would shop Barkley around. I love the idea of getting Breece Hall for Barkley. It seems like that's something that you can do right now. You won't be able to do later, so might want to poke around at that, because keeper-wise, he's worth a whole lot more.
Well, you can't get him till the draft.
Okay. Well, maybe after the draft, or maybe you trade him for the 1.1.
That's true.
You know, but you might be able to do that. People are pretty high on Barkley right now, and the fact that you'd have keeper value, boom, give me it all day.
All right.
Appreciate you, man. Later.
Bye, homie. Take care.
Later.
Call into the show. Dial 602 NFL. Down.
You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. What can I do for you? Who is this?
Vinny, it's Avatar.
Avatar, what's up, good buddy?
What's up, man? So, listen, there's a lot of back and forth about this quarterback stuff, and I wanted to weigh in with some real math and some real facts, because I understand what Ron is saying, and this is the deal. What Ron is saying is the point per game difference between like quarterback 5 and 6 and quarterback 12 is like 1.5 per game. Whereas if you draft running backs and wide receivers in the range that you're getting quarterback 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you gain a larger positional advantage, 2, 3 points per game sometimes per running back and wide receiver, than you do if you select quarterback 4, 5, 6, or 7 versus quarterback 12. It has nothing to do with who's rushing or who likes who more or 2 weeks in, what guys are worth. That's just how the math works. If it's just you get a better point per game advantage if you draft running backs and wide receivers higher than you do if you draft a quarterback in the mid rounds. So I'm going to hang up and just.
Well, no, you don't have to hang up yet. But this is a debate as old as time. Like it's. Oh, Avatar's gone. This is a debate as old as time. Like this is not new information. That if you take a quarter, like this is the whole debate. But the question becomes: is apples to apples? Are you going to land that player later? Like I have this debate. People think all the time that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to this, and that's fine because so many people love late quarterback. Let me see if I can get this to. There we go. But again, and I do a video on this to explain why and what my concept is here. So if you draft, let's call Burrow in round 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is not early quarterback. I don't care what value you get later on downstream. If you give me Burrow, oh god, why do these pens go out like crazy? If you give me Burrow in round 6, there's no debate. There's no debate. It doesn't matter if somebody's going to be close to top 5 or top 6 or whatever that you can get in round 10. I don't even care. It doesn't even matter. It's irrelevant. This guy could be the number 1 QB in fantasy football. You're getting him around 6. That is a home run that cannot be argued. This is why I like him more than Josh Allen. I have Herbert as my number 1 quarterback in fantasy football, but Herb is going in round 4. So why am I taking Joe Burrow in the 6th round over my favorite quarterback? Because the value is insane. So I'm already telling this story that you're telling in a similar fashion, Avatar, for sure. So I agree with you and Ron in that from that perspective. Now, the argument of drafting a Hurts over Cousins, let's say. So Hurts is going in, let's say, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's just say you're getting Brady here, or let's use Cousins because Cousins is your example. Let's say you're getting Cousins right here. This is 12. Let's just say you're getting him in 12, which is probably where you can get him. So Kirk Cousins versus me getting a Jalen Hurts in round 7 or wherever I'm getting Hurts. I get it. It is simple math to say if he's only a few points away and you're drafting him here, you can get a different player here. But the question becomes, at what point are you really hurting your lineup? Are you secure enough in your Tony Pollards that you're drafting in this area? Are you secure enough in these places to where Hurts and these other players is just better than drafting this player here and getting Cousins here? Apples to apples, am I landing Hurts and this player right here who I actually like, and I drafted Tyler Algier or something? Do I like Hurts and Algier over your player you're drafting here and your Cousins? And the answer is I like my option better 9 times out of 10. Doesn't mean that you're wrong in that the numbers speak, volumes or something like that, or that I don't understand. Like, that's a very, very old concept of the argument is, hey, you're going to score more points if you do it. Not really, because I feel confident in the players I'm drafting later where you're drafting your quarterback. So it has to be an apples comparison, especially when you say, like, when we go to an example like, whoops. I mean, hey, yeah, do that. thefantasyfootballshow.com. Get your 101 text device. When you go to this example here, this is probably the even better example than the Cousins, because not many people are going to be drafting Cousins as a starter. But if you go from the argument of Herbert, and let's say you can get Hurts in 7, so we'll just use the same player and do the flip side on it. Is Hurts a better value in round 7 than Herbert in round 4? You could argue it, but it really depends on what you do with your picks. You can't just say because there's a very small point difference. So let's use Hurts in my example. If I think Hurts is going to be a top 6, top 7 quarterback and Herbert's number 1, but the points between him, or let's even say a quarterback in this range here, is it better to just wait on a quarterback? If you miss on the player that you draft here, then you could definitely argue that. But if I'm taking Herbie here and I land a player like St. Brown here, and I think St. Brown's going to actually ball with the player that you could have got here, let's say you're getting DK. If I think St. Brown's going to ball with DK to a point where it's better to have Herbert over Hurts, then the apples to apples comparison is that the early quarterback wins. So in the case of Cousins down here, yeah, you can get Cousins to be 3 points different a game, whatever your stats say on that, that's fine. But will you land your other player where I'm drafting my quarterback? That's what it all comes down to. It's not just a simple replace, oh, you're going to score more if you do this. You have to land your picks. So it's a good argument. It's an argument as old as time. I totally understand it. I know what I'm doing with it. I know that it seems like to fantasy owners that don't like to draft quarterback early, it seems hard for them to accept that the person believes that they're going to land their pick later. So I totally understand what you're saying, but it doesn't change my thought process at all or my strategy with early and middle round quarterback drafting. So I feel what you're saying. Okay, Eagles are a playoff team if Hurts continued to be subpar passer. He will be replaced. Even someone like Carson Strong. Bro, I know you want to root against, Bob wants to root against Hurts. But he is a real opportunity to be better than subpar. Eagles are a playoff team. If Hurts continued to be subpar passer, he will be replaced. He's not going to be subpar. Dude's going to run for 800 yards. Not that that's everything, but I'm just saying, dude's going to move the football down the field. Hit that like button. Do it now and do it aggressively, says Conklin. Avatar says even very smart point difference matters. It does, but you got to assume that, where is this? Why won't it call in? Try calling in again. I don't know why my phone line wasn't working there. You're assuming that I'm not going to land the other player, though. You know what I mean? That's what people that argue that whole quarterback thing don't take into account. Is like, I believe I'm going to land the pick where you're drafting your quarterback. I'm going to land that pick. If I land that pick, it's game over. The debate's over. Because Burrow in the player I land in round 7 or 8 where someone's drafting a quarterback, I'm smashing that. There's 100 ways to win. 1,000 ways, million ways to win. You can win with Kirk Cousins. You can win with Josh Allen. You can win with Justin Herbert. You can win with Joe Burrow. You can win with Jalen Hurts. There's no set way to win or play fantasy football. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. What can I do for you? Who am I talking to? Identify yourself. Who?
Mario.
What's up, Mario?
Hey, I'm at work, so I gotta make it quick. But I think you should definitely toss Jalen Hurts up there with the move, man, broski.
Yeah, I love Jalen Hurts, bro. He's on his way.
He's top 5. Easy top 5. Minimum, like 7 quarterback. But let's just talk about on the move, man.
Yeah, he might be on there. I'm being very careful with who I toss up on the movement page, but Hurts is definitely a consideration. Don't worry. You got him in your top 5.
I got him in the top 5 easy, even
Nice.
without AJ Brown. Tossing AJ Brown in there, I mean, come on.
He's gonna have a good year, man. He's gonna run for, I don't know, how many yards is he gonna run for? 800.
Running, yeah, definitely 800 and probably 6 to 7 rushing TDs.
Yeah, he's like a running back, bro. You know when people say he's like having an extra running back? I sometimes hate that phrase because like when you use it with Lamar, it's not true. It's not true. Lamar, if you take Lamar's running away from him, he's a mediocre quarterback. He doesn't have great fantasy quarterback stats. Jalen Hurts, actually, that makes sense when you say it because it's like having an extra running back. Because even if you took away his running, he's still throwing the ball. He's going to still throw the ball. He's going to still have a really good passing numbers. And everybody judging him off of 1 year. It's ridiculous. All right, man. Appreciate you.
People don't realize Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown now. Like, come on.
Yeah. Hey, you said this is Mario, right?
Yeah.
All right, Mario. I got you in my phone here. Appreciate you, man. Call in anytime, Mario.
For sure.
Later. Okay, did you guys watch the Eagles game versus Tampa Bay in the playoffs last year? How did Hurts look? Joey B, Lance, and Hurts all to 5 watch. I love Joey B. I love Lance. I love Hurts. I love all 3 of these quarterbacks, broski. To the moon. To the moon. To the moon. I won 2 championships with Hurts, and when I drafted him, I bragged to my whole league that I had an extra running back. You did have an extra running back. You did. And you're going to this year. You can't say that about Lamar. Lamar's not an extra running back. Lamar's just a running back, in a quarterback shell. And that's why Lamar's great in fantasy. But Hurts is going to be a good passer. He's going to throw for a lot of yards. He's got A.J. Brown now. It's going to be unbelievable. The season is going to be unbelievable for Jalen. He's going to have a big, big year. He might be on the moon. We keep getting enough pushback, and we're shoving him onto the moon page. Ron with another super chat. You trying to say Hurts is like Vic potential? No way. I mean, he is like Vic potential. Though, Ron, he could rush for 1,000 yards. I mean, pretty easily. He is a Vic type quarterback. That's exactly what I would argue for sure. He's on his way to it, so it's going to be a little uncomfortable for some people until he becomes that. I get that. But Jalen Hurts has a 1,000-yard rushing potential. That's the definition of Michael Vick, especially when you can throw the ball as well. Like, he could throw for 20. He'll easily throw for 25 plus TDs. He'll run for. Last year, Jalen Hurts had 10 rushing. Look at this. Look at these rushing stats. If you don't think Jalen Hurts is going to throw for, 25 plus touchdowns, then I get it. That's your prediction, and I respect it. I don't hate on anybody's prediction in general. But this is Jalen Hurts' rushing stats last year. 784 and 10. If this guy throws for near 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns plus, 25 plus, it's going to be a painful year for a lot of the people doubting Jalen. It's going to be a big season. Jalen's a fantasy monster. Then you're going to have people just talking about how he's bad at football, but he's good at fantasy again. And that's par for the course with Jalen hate. A lot of people hate Jalen. Hurts was injured late in the year, so it left a little sour taste in your mouth, D-Town says. I hear you. Avatar says, points per game difference, A.J. Dillon versus the 12th running back versus Burrow, point per game difference versus Cousins. The Dillon point per game difference will be much bigger. But again, I get what you're saying. Again, Avatar, it's the argument as old as time. Like, there's 2 sides to it. It's not like this is a revelation. Like, I appreciate it. It's not like it's a revelation that no one's argued before. Like, it's argued for a reason because people have different perspectives on it. This is not accounting for what I see Burrow doing. This is accounting for statistics from last year. And what I'm telling you is I believe that, you got to hit on the quarterback you're talking about. So you can't just say Cousins will do this. They're changing their offense. They're going to try and go more pass heavy. Will it work? Will it backfire and cause the offense to fall apart and struggle and not get in the red? Like, you got to factor in there's a lot of change that could happen on the quarterback that you're taking on that side of it. What if he dips? What if he's not as good? You can't just say Cousins will for sure do this. So, and you're also not taking into account when you use this data to drive your decision what I'm predicting. I'm predictive. I'm very gut instinct and gut oriented. Yeah, I use a lot of stats to my advantage, of course. I'm not just a guy that does analytical, and I do both. I do both. I'm very, very gut driven. I'm very, very statistic driven, but I let my gut override any statistics, or more so, I let my gut hammer home a point and make me drive in a different direction, because both stats and my gut are telling me, or stats confirm what my gut's already saying. So what you're saying here, there's arguments to it for sure. That's why this is the oldest fantasy football debate in history. It's the oldest debate in time. Do you take a quarterback late? Do you take a quarterback early? There are people that do both for a reason, because sometimes, Avatar, people draft better with their strengths, and sometimes people struggle in fantasy to identify the quarterback that you're talking about. Who is the quarterback that's going to consistently do what you're saying later, or is that quarterback going to drop off and fall off the face of the earth? You can say till you're blue in the face that if you draft this quarterback here over early quarterback here, what happens if this quarterback falls off the face of the earth? You know, there's so many components. It's not as easy as it's a lock that you're going to get these stats to play out the way that you're saying, though. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the argument and the point. It's for sure a good strategy for some people, but some people do very well drafting quarterback early, and that is their strength. And if you send everybody in a certain direction, you know, like, hey, wait on your quarterback, it doesn't work for everybody just because it works for you. It sounds like, Avatar, this actually is to your strength and how you do and how you draft. And the bottom line is it's not statistical fact, though, Avatar, because you are not accounting for what I expect Burrow to do this year. Burrow's going to blow this expectation out of the water. He's going to blow it out of the water. Hurts is going to blow the expectation out of the water. If I thought everybody was going to score the exact same amount of points from the previous year, why would you not use just math to make your decision? I understand that. So you're right in a sense that if the numbers were the same, you could use math to draft. But the numbers are not the same. It's the National Football League. It's a place where a guy can not play 8 games and be the number 1 running back in the NFL during just the final 8 games. It's not baseball where there's the averages and everything's numbers. Like, you don't even have to watch baseball. You can just play the averages because they play so many games. You are what you are average-wise. It doesn't even change. If you're a 6.5 baseball point scorer in fantasy baseball, you're 6.5. You really don't change. You could draft a number in baseball. In football, it's so different. 6 games at the end of the year could be a whole different thing than the first part of the season. And if you believe Burrow is going to be a certain level of awesomeness, you can't account for that with using previous stats. So definitely 100 different ways to win. Avatar's way is not wrong. Ron's way is not wrong. Your boy Smitty's way is not wrong. What matters is what works for you. And what works for you, what you're able to do, how you're able to execute it. I think telling one person to do something a certain way, which is why I don't tell people to draft early quarterback if it doesn't work for them. Sounds to me like Avatar and some other people love to go later quarterback. That's fine. That works. That absolutely works. But you got to do what works for you and draft to your strengths. And there's a lot of people that can't stand to play the late quarterback game because if they get it wrong, then their team suffers. And they can never get out of that constant battle of trying to get a quarterback. I have a lot of people that say, Smitty, I'm always pretty late quarterback, and I kept screwing up who I drafted last year, the year before. I'm finally buying into early quarterback because it doesn't work for me to do late quarterback. So it just depends on how good you are at it. Like, Avatar sounds like you've got it down for you, and I would continue to use it. I wouldn't even advise you not to go late quarterback, Avatar, because it sounds like it's your jam. So definitely do what works for you. My advice to everybody watching is don't listen to any one person that tells you to do something a certain way. If I was here telling you you must draft Joe Burrow early or in the middle rounds, then you shouldn't listen to me because you might not be good at drafting like that. You got to draft and play to your strengths and improve every single facet of your game. Make your weaknesses strengths, but until then, draft accordingly. Draft in a way that puts you in the best position to win. Your boy Smitty's telling you that Joe Burrow is the best pick in fantasy football 2022 outside of Breece Hall. Breece Hall in round 4 wins you leagues. Joe Burrow in round 6 wins you leagues. Do with it what you want, but these are the top 2 picks in 2022 given their ADP, their cost of entry. Joe Burrow round 6, Breece Hall round 4. Now go win a championship, Moon Men.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Call into the show. Dial 602 NFL. Dong.
Let's see here. The Bruce took Joey B, number 2 overall. That's high, the Bruce. That's high, bro. Can you call in and explain yourself? What are you doing taking him 2 overall? Is this a super flex? If it is, then yeah. Of course. I'm fine with that. If this is a super flex, you're fine. I wish someone complaining about that. I like that. Scott says, why are you trying to mess with Burrow's ADP, Bruce? If that's a super flex. That's a fine move. I'm fine with that. Herbert, Burrow, anywhere in the top 2 or 3. Anywhere in the top 2 or 3. Hurts is elusive. He sure is. He sure is. Frake, I get lost when people try to bring up playoff wins and losses. Call in again, Mario. Or Bruce or whoever called in. My darn phone line. It's good and bad. These ain't the Joe Flacco days where you need to win a Super Bowl to get paid. This is Frake. Frake's smoking a cigar like Joe Burrow in his photo. Attaboy. Dial in again, Mario or whoever that was. My bad, I'm missing your call. Frake to the moon. Frake to the moon. Avatar. The Bruce. What's up, the Bruce? Hold on. Let me play.
Hey,
let me play your intro.
The Bruce I'm coming to defend my loose. Joey B pick number 2
It's
overall.
Super flex, right?
Yeah, super
yeah,
flex.
okay. Then fine. Somebody said something about you
Allen
ruining the
went
ADP.
1, and I took Burrow 2nd over Herbie and all them.
Burrow, yeah. I mean, I don't mind Herbert. I don't mind Burrow. I don't mind Mahomes. I don't mind Josh Allen. You can take those guys in any order. It's preference. My order would be Herbert, Burrow. Or I'm sorry, Herbert, Josh Allen, Burrow. If I'm drafting like in order, but
right,
I don't mind Burrow number 2. I don't mind Burrow number 1. Like literally, I get the wind blows a certain way. The Bruce, if it blows a certain way, you're hanging to the left that day. Doesn't matter. You can go any one of those guys. I like to take destiny into my own hands. I don't like when people say, "Hey, I'll just take the 4th and just take who's left over." I hate that approach. But like, you're on the clock, make a decision. If you feel like it's Joseph Burrow for the long term, pull the trigger. You did. I respect it.
Yep, it was in the voicemail league.
Attaboy. What's your team so far?
I got Burrow, I got Carr, and I drafted Travis Kelce in the 3rd round.
Burrow, Carr, Travis Kelce. Burrow, Carr, Travis Kelce. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what you do. Is it tight end premium?
I don't think this super flex is super tight end premium.
Yeah. I would have been interested to know who was there in place of Carr. But past that, I mean, it's still a good team. Nice job.
Yeah, he was I think he was the best quarterback left from what I understand, and I was like, well, if I don't take him here, who am I going to get stuck with? Lance was already gone. Hurts was gone.
Do it, Bruce. Get down.
So I took Derek Carr just so I had a viable number.
I hear you. My favorite approach though, because you were drafted from the 2 spot, would have been to revert back. If it's not mandatory, is it mandatory QB or is it super flex?
It's super flex.
Yeah. See, I mean, you've seen my videos though, Bruce. Not that you have to do exactly what I'm saying all the time. I'm not saying that, but like when you revert back to this, so you took Burrow here, and it's advantageous to have a second good quarterback, obviously. But this is where I revert back to normal drafting in these 3 rounds, and I kind of play it by ear for this round and this round. But like this is where you could come in and still get a Jefferson type of player. Then you come in and you get like a Javonte here or something, or whatever. I feel like you can clean up, get reverting back to one QB thinking with drafting in the second round. Whenever you get one of these top 4 picks, that's my best strategy. When you've got a 1 to 4 pick, this go non-QB, and maybe non-QB here, and then consider it based on who's here in round 5 and round 6. That's my best approach, because it ends up looking similar to this team right here. I can throw this on the screen and show you the team that I drafted. Is this the team that I got? This is it. So this is similar. This is from the 9 pick though, but I don't know if you can see my screen, but this is how I think you can crush a super flex. So you treat round 1 like this. You take Kyler. Obviously you take Burrow, whatever. Then you go back to normal drafting. DeAndre Swift, Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, George Kittle, Terry McLaurin, Kenneth Walker, and then I go back to the quarterback and getting Davis Mills and Deshaun Watson. May be risky to some people in a super flex, but it is a super flex. It is not a mandatory 2 QB, so that risk is a lot lower. But look at that squad. Swift, Deebo, A.J. Brown, Kittle, McLaurin, absolute fire. And I'm comfortable with Davis Mills. And even if Davis Mills doesn't work out, Watson's probably playing, by the sound of it, maybe half a season right now, the way that the news is looking, whether you want to believe it or not. So this team would crush in Superflex. And that's my only advice next time you do one is consider. Do what feels right to you, the Bruce. Sounds like you got a good team. There's nothing wrong with Derek Carr. But I do feel like this is an approach that is a winning formula in Superflex.
Yes, it is.
Appreciate you, the Bruce. What else you got for me? Anything else?
I didn't know if you answered this, but because I was at work. But do you think Lamar should say, "Hey, listen, this is what people are getting. You're going to give me this, or I'm just going to play out my 7 years and I'm done"?
Yeah, bro, but you got to keep in mind that Lamar's the reason why Lamar's not signed. It's not the Ravens. The reports that I've heard and the people that I've talked to close to the situation is the Ravens have been wanting to get a deal done. It's Lamar that's stalling. So the Ravens would say okay. Lamar doesn't have an agent, man. He doesn't have an agent. This is why you need an agent. He needs an agent. Like everyone can say, oh, he's being smart. He's doing it himself. Maybe it ends up working out. I'm not saying he can't, end up doing the right deal. But without an agent, there's a reason someone does this for a living. Like granted, sometimes agents do less than other agents. I'm not saying that all agents earn their money and all that, and they do a little amount of work, but there's a lot that goes into negotiation. There's a lot that goes into where the player doesn't need to worry about disrupting the relationship between you and the team, right? That's my agent. My agent's going to deal with that. I just play football. That's why agents exist, so that players can focus on football and let the agents make the uncomfortable feelings between the team and the agent, not the team and the player. Right now, Lamar and his mother are the agents. Him and his mother are handling this. It's not smart. It's not smart. You can say, he's going to save that percentage. You know what the Ravens would say if Lamar came to him and said, look, I don't want to pay this agent fee. They would say, let us pick it up. Let us get an agent involved that can get this deal done. We'll pick up the tab. Whatever the agent needs to get paid, we'll just pay that. Like, this is what's so dumb about the argument. He should have an agent. There's no argument that he shouldn't have an agent. Lamar should have an agent. There's no argument. I don't want to hear it from anybody. There's no sense in this. The Ravens would gladly pick up the tab and just say, let's get a deal done. The Ravens want to income. The problem is this man doesn't necessarily know where he wants to be 2, 3, 4 years from now. And I don't blame him for that. I know that he's upset probably that they got rid of Hollywood, even though he knew it was coming. I don't need people to remind me that. He knew it was coming. Doesn't mean he accepted it or liked it. They shipped off his number 1 wide receiver. I mean, as a quarterback, that's going to irk you a little bit. He reportedly, from a few people, I've heard multiple different people on this, that he wants to maybe consider, and this could be posturing, he could sign a deal tomorrow. But he may want to be franchise tagged for multiple years after his 5th-year option so that he can ink his bigger deal after that and get that franchise tag money, which isn't a bad approach on his face, but this is a running quarterback. This is a quarterback that runs over 150 to 180 times. You know, that's crazy. That's to literally postpone getting the payday when you run the football 150 to 180 times a season. That's just I don't know why he's waiting. I wouldn't wait. If I was his agent, and he doesn't have an agent. If I was his mom, if I was his mom, and I was his agent at the same time, I would tell him, I would say,
Son, you can't spend $230 million. You should take it.
I mean, the thing is, coming off the Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed deal, if he had an agent would have chased that and got him probably something very close to that, like off the back of that contract. Now that Kyler reset the tone of guaranteed money not being it's not fully guaranteed. It's 160 of 230. Now Kyler's ability to do that is probably taken off the table. So I just don't understand like what the perspective is. Like what there's certain agents that get deals done, man. They get big deals done. You send one of these big dogs in there he'd walk away with 250, 200 million guaranteed. He waits around and gets hurt. He may not get these deals he thinks he's going to get 3 years from now. I love that he's banking on himself, but he's a running quarterback. He's a running quarterback. He's a running quarterback, the Bruce. He runs
and
150 to 180 times a season. He's going to get hurt at some point. Is he really going to... and again, it could be posturing. Maybe he does want to ink this deal, and he's really trying to negotiate, and this is the way he negotiates. This is the way his mom negotiates. I don't know. Maybe his mom's got a plan. I have no idea. Would you let your mom negotiate your $230 million contract to Bruce? Would Miss Robeson would that be put in her hands? Or would you go get an agent?
No. I'd go get Drew Rosenhaus.
No offense, Miss Robeson. I might trust Miss Robeson, actually. I think she'd get it done. I think she'd walk in there and go, Hey, Ravens.
Bake in, boys.
Bake in the guaranteed money and do it now.
Bake in, boys.
That's the Bruce's mom, by the way. That voice, that legend that you hear right now. Does your mom like being a legend of the show?
Actually, she does.
That's good. I like that. Your mom's loved on the show, bro. Your mom is loved on the show. Everybody loves your mom.
Actually, my dad's kind of jealous.
Do we need to get Pops involved? Do we need to get Mr. Can we get a clip from Mr. Robeson? Can we create a little tension inside the Robeson household? Can we get something from Pops? Something crazy from Pops. Send us something, the Bruce. We didn't know we had a battle going on.
Yeah, he would do something, but he would only do it for Baker Mayfield.
Do it, whatever it is. Just send it to me, okay? We'll get it on here. Tell him I'll make him the Fantasy Football Show famous, bro. All right.
I will.
Appreciate you.
All right, one more question.
Yeah.
All right, so I know I might want to beat a thing over a dead horse, but what do you think of these players going back? Like J.K. went after Ian Rappaport. Do you think that they should be barking at anybody, or you think they should be like Lenny, playoff Lenny, who I don't believe in, and say, just watch me in September? You think they should say something like that, not talk about, hey, this is how I feel?
Do I think
like
that
my knee is...
I mean, do I think the players should be talking about it, you mean?
Yeah. I
mean, I don't know. I don't mind when a player defends themselves, but, like, you know, I think players in general are too embedded in social media. Like, if I know you can't control players and say you can't be on social media, but some players that can't handle social media shouldn't be on social media. You know, like, I love when people say, oh, you should leave him alone, or when Josh Jacobs snapped and told his fans to F off, and he said, screw your fantasy, and he lied to everybody and said that he wasn't going to play to try and screw up fantasy football, and just told people to meet him at the stadium. Here's the address. You have a problem with me? Meet me at the stadium. Here's the address. Like being a child. Josh Jacobs was a child. That's why he blocked me on all social media, because I was blasting him about it. And I'm not just against Jacobs because I don't care if he blocked me. People think that's why I'm against him. I'm against him because he isn't using his head. And if you can't handle the social media, then just zone it out by not even going near it. Like, why are you on social media if this bothers you so bad? And when people say, well, these poor players get hassled all the time, and people are like, you need to start for me, you need to score more points for me. If they can't handle that part of their job, which that is part of their job, they're in the NFL. They're dealing with the media. They're dealing with fans. Then they should not be on social media. There are players that aren't active on social media. You don't have to be on social media. That's your own fault. That's your own fault for going in there and mingling in an environment that's going to bother you. It's their fault. It's ridiculous when a player flips out and then blames it on the fans, and then some people defend the player when the player was ridiculous, like the whole Kinlaw thing. Like, as much as I can't stand the way that went down on the other side of the fence, but Kinlaw shouldn't be putting himself in that situation either. It was just a bad situation. There's so many of these situations that players just need to step away from. Like, defending a player at all that flips out on a fan, it's ridiculous. I had a 1 hour meeting and Smitty is still live. At a boy Vamp.
Do you think Tom Brady got Rashad White because he couldn't get James White there?
He wanted familiarity, maybe, but Rashad White to the moon. Can we all talk about Rashad White for a second? Rashad White to the moon. This guy Lenny, look,
to the moon.
I don't wish injury upon Lenny. I don't wish negativity upon Lenny. I wish Lenny would get traded and then be successful somewhere else. Send him to the Raiders. Send him to the Raiders to take Josh Jacobs' place. Put Fournette in the Raiders uniform. Get him out of here.
Anyway.
But Rashad White is one of the best pass-catching running backs to come out of college in a long time. And this guy Lenny comes in overweight. This guy Lenny dropping footballs, which I put the report up yesterday. I got blasted left and right from people saying I'm making up stuff that Leonard Fournette's dropping footballs. I put the report up yesterday. Go look at the video. I had to because people kept asking me about it, so I finally put it up. Leonard Fournette was dropping footballs, came in at 260 pounds. He's older now. He never plays full seasons. He's never played a full season. He's always missing time. He's always banged up. And an older running back, every year this man gets older. Unfortunately, we all get older every single year, the Bruce. You can't run away from Father Time. And this man's getting older every single year and doing this weight drop. That's not healthy for your body. If there's a reason he doesn't stay healthy, it's probably because his weight fluctuates and he's putting himself in a weak and vulnerable position, dropping this weight quickly, struggling on the treadmill. That's how you get hurt, trying to rush this and jam pack it all into a small window of time. This guy's susceptible to getting hurt, and Rashad White's waiting for him. I'm not wishing it upon him. Again, I wish they would trade him. If I could press this button right here, the one that I wouldn't press for sending Melvin Gordon to Baltimore, I would press this to send Fournette to the Raiders. Put him in a Raiders uniform. Maybe he does well there. Okay? But Rashad White is waiting. He's waiting. He can't wait until the opportunity's there. He doesn't wish injury upon Fournette any more than anybody. We don't want Fournette to get hurt. Not saying that. But Fournette is putting himself in a very likely position to get hurt. Rashad White's going to have his shoelaces laced up. He's ready to go. He's got everything ready to go. His hands are fully prepared. Where's my football? His hands are fully prepared. This man can catch everything. Boom. Over there, catch everything. Like this, he catches footballs like this. The ball comes in, he catches it like that. You didn't know Smitty had those kind of hands, did you? Look at that. I can catch the football on the top of my hand. So can Rashad White.
And he'll end up in the right spot, too.
Yeah.
Unlike Lenny.
All right, Bruce. Appreciate you, man. Rashad White to the moon.
You too.
Later.
Rashad White to the moon.
To the moon. Moon men.
The moon men. dropping loads in outer space.
Space.
I'll be back 7 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate every single one of you. I'm Smitty from the Fantasy Football Show. I'm live Monday through Friday, and I'm live whenever there is breaking news. R. Smith says it's hard. It's not easy bringing Sexy back. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for him to drop those LBs. I'll be live anytime there's breaking news. That's the way I roll. Kyler Murray signed his extension. Smitty goes live. That's not including the Monday through Friday 7 p.m. show, which is coming up next. So I'll see you at 7 p.m. unless news breaks again, because I'll go live then. Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. Get your one-on-one text advice with me, Smitty. On-demand texting, bold predictions, all the rankings. Your boy's done it for 20 years over on the content side. So get over there and check it out. Thefantasyfootballshow.com. Underdog Fantasy, link in the description. Promo code Smitty. Thank you, Avatar. Thank you, the Bruce. Thank you, everybody, for the good debate. Avatar, Blackbeard, Ron, for the good debate. Ron, Mario, Hurts to the moon. We all have different opinions, and it's okay, because that's what makes fantasy football work. Appreciate you all. See you at 7 p.m.
People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get lamb.
People are getting burrowed left and right.
Get breached. Get breached. Get breached.